Welcome back everybody to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition tutorial video. Guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to build a witch farm using one of these guys right here called a witch hut. Those of you that are new to the game, you haven't seen it, you'll find these throughout your world. And if you're having trouble finding one, I just released a seed video that has one of these right here near spawn. You're welcome to go ahead and check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. But I'm going to show you guys how to build a farm out of this, so let's get started, all right? One of the first things you're going to want to do when you find one of these guys is you're going to need to light up the area around it. And if you see any of these mushrooms like this nearby, get rid of those because mobs can spawn on these mushroom blocks. Now, when you're lighting up this witch hut, I would start at one of the legs here and come out diagonally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 blocks. Do that in all 4 corners and light it up at that distance all the way around. And then you can place any torches anywhere you want outside of this, but don't place any underneath this witch hut. I'll show you why in just a minute. Now that you've done that, step out just a little bit, like 2 more blocks from those torches, and go somewhere in the central point between the two and put yourself another torch. And then from there you can just go ahead and light up this outside area. You don't need a lot of torches, just enough to keep the mobs from spawning because they need like level 0 now. So that's a thing. If you've lit it up pretty good in a circle around the witch hut, it should look kind of like this right now. Now the next step is we're going to level this witch hut down all the way to the floor. Okay, once you've got that witch hut leveled all the way down to the floor like this, the next step is going to be to find the spawning space. The witches are only going to spawn in one space on this platform. We're going to choose a different colored block. We're going to mark that space wherever that is. But to do that, we're going to go up 1 block. And on top of this block, we're going to put a second block. Or you can do a glass pane, doesn't matter. And we're going to come across with a glass pane down the center of this witch hut, all the way to where the door was. Then we're going to go on this side with glass panes, and this side with glass panes. And now we have to get back at a distance to find out where the witches spawn at. Now you can do this at nighttime to find out where they spawn, or you can cover it over and do it in the daytime. Totally fine either way. Completely up to you. But if you cover it over in the daytime, you are going to have to make sure it's completely dark. And try to find out where the witch is going to spawn in at. Now, once you have your dark chamber to get the witch to spawn into, you are going to have to get at least 24 blocks away from that dark chamber to make the witch spawn in. Preferably, you should build upward 24 blocks. That way, you're not spawning in any mobs in the caves below. Those 24 blocks need to be directly vertical above the center of the witch hut. And it needs to be 24 from the floor, which is these spruce planks right here. Once you get your witches spawned in, be very careful. They shouldn't be able to see you because they're behind the glass. But what you want to do is you want to get a map, a locator map, and find out where north is. Okay, north just happens to be in that direction for me. So I'm going to go back here, facing to the north. I'm going to look and get behind these witches. Don't break the glass that is holding them in. And we're going to find the block that is right here, closest to me. They're going to be in a square little chamber. So you want to find the one to the right. There should be a 4-block square that they're standing on. Find this one closest to you on the right and mark that block. If you're not sure if you have the right block, you can always block this space with a glass block or a leaf block, preferably a glass block. And then build your dark chamber. Come back and see if they've spawned in. If they haven't, then you've got the right block. Once you've found your witch's spawning area, let's move forward. Now that you have your witch's spawning space, you can go ahead and eliminate everything else that isn't that space. You can leave 1 block beside this block if you want, but make sure it is on the north side and no other blocks exist. Keep track of what is north for you because that is very important. All right, now if you have any land like this right next to your witch hut, I suggest just go ahead and get rid of that. Shave it down just a little bit. And if you have any really high areas like that over there, but much closer, you're going to definitely have to do some terraforming. All right, now that you know which way is north, you know what the spawning surface is for the witch. All right, facing north, you're going to turn to your left, and this is going to be west. Now, in this west direction, we're going to get a separate block so that we can make this a different block than these that we have already chosen. And we're going to go to this western side, and we're going to build out behind this spawnable block right here. You're going to want to mark that spawn block so you know it's something different than all the rest of the blocks. That way you don't get confused. You want to go ahead and mark every block at that level. Basically, you're going to build a dark chamber around this spawning block, but you're going to leave a 4-block space just like that. Once you built all the way around this spawning block right here, you're going to come up one more block for that spawning block, and then come up one more block for the other, and make sure that this is boxed in pretty good all the way around. Just like that. Now you're going to get a glass block. Place that glass block one block above, so like this, one block gap in between the spawning block and the glass block. Make sure that air block is in between there, that air gap. All right, now we're going to come to the other side here at the bottom. We're going to bring this all the way down to the ground, just like that. At this point, we're going to build a trident killer, starting right here on the ground next to this spawning pillar here. We're going to go ahead and build this whole thing. I'll show you how to build it real quick. You're going to build a trident killer like this. You're going to have a piston facing towards you. You're going to walk against this piston, turn to your right, skip a block, and face another piston facing at you. Do the same thing here, walk towards this one, do the same thing there. Once you're done with that, you're going to place an observer, just like that. Now that observer face is going to be facing out. On the opposite side of it, it's going to have this little red output. You want the face to be facing outward. And you're going to do this all the way around, just like that, until you've got the trident killer completely circled. Next thing you're going to do, take some redstone torch, place it on the side of each piston, just like this. And when it's done, it's going to actuate. After that, you're just going to throw in your trident. And do not pick that trident back up. If you do, you've just broken it. Okay? Now when you want to turn it off, you just add a little bit of power to this piston, and that will power off the redstone torch, and the whole thing will shut off. Once you have that trident killer built, and you toss in your trident, and you get this thing running and operational, put your lever on there to shut it off, we're ready to move on to the next step. For the next step, you're going to block this up just like this so that no light can get inside of this farm. Now you're still going to get light in through your pistons. I'll show you how to take care of that in just a moment. First, we're going to come to the top. You want to make sure that the witches have a way of falling down. So to do that, we're going to put in a leaf block right here to the north side of this glass block. To show you again on the map, there's a little pointer on the map there. It turns in all directions. When it's facing upwards on the map, pointing up, that is north. Make sure the grass block, or the leaf block, sorry, is to the north of the glass block. Once you've done that, you can cover this top over. I suggest you cover it in leaves. You can actually put a torch up here if you want, but definitely spawn proof it in one way or another. For the sake of video and testing, you can do this as well. I'm going to use tinted glass to cover it over so that I can see down in it. Now you're going to come to the bottom around your trident killer, and you're going to surround all these pistons with solid blocks. Now you can still do this with solid blocks and put your lever right back on the block that you just put behind the piston and switch it off, and it will work just fine. But what we're doing is covering all these torches up and the pistons, so that way the torch doesn't allow light through the piston and the piston doesn't get light through it. Once you've done this, you should have blocked off all the light in your farm, with the exception of the redstone torches, and they emit a low level light, so it's not a big worry. Now we're just going to go up and test to see if any mobs are spawning. Okay, we are 24 blocks minimum. I think we're actually 30 blocks from the spawnable block, and as you can see there, a witch just spawned in and fell into the killing chamber. And another, and there's probably 2 or 3 in there by now. So let's go down there and finish up and build the collection. I would go ahead and spawn proof these blocks as well, because you don't want any mobs spawning on those while you're AFK up in the air. So basically, to do your collection system, you're going to have to dig down underneath of this witch hut. And when you dig down, you're going to leave the bottom blocks here that the witches are going to be standing on. You want those to be there so that they can actually stand on those in the killing chamber. So you're going to dig out the second block up or the second block down, whichever you want to call it. You need to leave one block in here, and you need to leave the blocks below, and you need to have this chamber open so that you can place in your rails. We're going to go ahead and put 2 rails on the back wall just like that. We're going to do 1 rail on one side. We're going to get underneath of the block right here beside that rail, put a redstone torch, and it's going to power that block, which powers the rail. Simple as that. Now you can do this digging it out, you can do it however you want, completely up to you. Do the same on this side. Put your rail in, although you need to wait. Go ahead and break these 2 blocks in front, and then you're going to come back, skip a block, put in a chest, put a hopper going into that chest, and you're going to need to go ahead and make 1 more hopper going into a temporary block right there. Whoops. That's going to be a chest as well. So basically you got 2 hoppers going into a double chest, and now you just finish up your rail line here into an oval shape just like this. Once you've done that, put your minecart on there, give it a little push, and it should be on its way. So those 4 back blocks area there is right directly under the trident killer. Should be. If it's not, make sure and get it sorted out. All right, other than being off 1 block, I'm pretty much done with this thing. Now I want to show you how to do your AFK spot. Now you can do an AFK spot however you really choose, honestly. You can do it with a water elevator, you can do it with ladders, whatever you choose to get up there. But basically you're going to get yourself up into the air directly above the spawning block. Now you want to count the blocks from the killing chamber, which is right here level on the ground. We are currently at level 64. We don't want to be any more than 44 blocks away from that space. Okay, so let's go up to 104. That should put us at 40 blocks above the despawn range. Within 4 blocks of the despawn range. So let's take a look down there to see if we're getting any spawns. Nice. They're spawning in and they're not despawning, and they're being killed in the kill chamber, so that's great. That's a win for us. Awesome. Once you've got your AFK spot set, build yourself a nice little safe space so that no phantoms get you, and your farm should be working just fine, as you can see. Sometimes the witches will dance around a bit, but they will eventually get taken out by the trident killer, as you saw right there. Now let me show you some of the benefits of this farm and tell you a few things that you can do to get some different potions. Some of the benefits of a witch farm are that you can get redstone, spider eyes, sugar, sticks, glowstone dust, and gunpowder all in one spot. You can also get empty glass bottles as well as potions from the witches. You can get plenty of potions of healing. Now, if you want to get some easy fire resistance potions and you don't want to go do any trading with piglins or do any brewing, replace these blocks in the floor with magma blocks and you will get fire resistance potions, because the witch will try to drink the fire resistance so that they don't burn on the magma, and they will be killed while holding that potion, and they will drop the fire resistance potion into the chest. Now, there are other things you can do to add other effects to the witch, and the witch will drop a potion that they try to consume to protect themselves from that effect. We can talk about more of those later if you guys are really interested. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for being here. I can see all of you guys down in the comments, I hope. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope it was very easy to follow. And if you have any troubles, give me a shout in the comments. I'll be more than willing to help you if I can. But please watch the video and follow the tutorial. Thanks, everybody. Everyone have a great morning, day or night. I'll see you later on. Bye, everybody.